All right. Good night, everybody. We're set now.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Hope everybody's doing okay. It's one of our nights again, and we decided to take just a little break.
Yes.
So now we're back.
Good night, and welcome to Muddy Puddles. Another night. We are sorry we missed you guys last week, but it wasn't an unplanned break, but a useful break.
Yes.
But we are back. We missed you guys. I think I kind of had
Tabanca,
Monday night Tabanca. Not having to be on and see you guys.
Yes.
And just interact. So we are back tonight, and I hope you guys will come on as usual.
Yes.
Have another great topic tonight, and we want to hear from you as usual.
Yes.
So we hope you guys are keeping safe. We hope you guys are keeping safe. We know things in some areas are getting better, in other areas it's not so great.
Mm-hmm.
But wherever you are, just try to keep safe. Good night, Carolyn. Good night, and welcome to Muddy Puddles tonight. It's the last week. Monday? We have one more Monday in November.
Yes.
Yeah, look at that. The year
My
is
sister's
coming
birthday.
down. Good night. Good night. So while we are waiting for a few
people
more to come on, go ahead and share the video, like the video, start a watch party, whichever you think will be better for you and the people around you. Good night, Masha. Welcome. And get ready to interact. We want to hear from you guys as much. Hi, how is New York? She says, I'm watching from New York.
Lovely.
I hope you're keeping safe. Oh boy,
Yes.
still having some numbers again.
Oh man.
Good night, Sia. It's always good to see you guys.
Yes.
Welcome.
Welcome.
So we are back with Muddy
and
Puddles.
share, like and share.
Yes. We'll have to share. I'm gonna share.
Yeah,
mine,
you
so
share.
Give me a minute, because I normally don't remember to share.
Yes. On your Facebook page too.
Yeah, that's.
Share the video on Facebook.
I normally don't remember to share.
So we're discussing something very important. And I guess the longer you are together, the better you can navigate it, although some people will have some trouble still.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are newly married or looking to be married, you're in a relationship, this is for people in relationships too.
Yeah.
I think the issue starts at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that you're hearing. I just remembered the earpiece. Are you hearing okay?
Thank you, Sia. Yes, are you hearing us?
Are you hearing us?
I
Please
think
tell us.
Yeah. Because we haven't had anybody say that for
A long time.
Good night,
Yes.
Maria. So I hope you guys are hearing. Hi, Katura.
Yes. Tell us if we're hearing.
I think we're hearing. Okay, great.
So we didn't really need that thing before.
Yeah. Maybe we can add some more volume. Ooh.
Yes.
How do I do it without touching the...
I think your volume is below.
All right, so go ahead, Nathan.
Yes. It's the issue of privacy.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the issue of privacy.
Yeah, volume is up. Okay, great.
Very good.
Excellent.
This issue of privacy. After you have lived so long as a single person, the issue of privacy can become a challenge.
Yes.
Not so? Come, those who are on, tell us, maybe you have mastered it, maybe it's not an issue for you, but when just the fact that you're individual, that may pose an issue in terms of privacy.
Yep.
Not so?
Yeah.
And then when you have been doing it for a long time, you really it can become an issue. So tonight we're talking about, is there privacy in marriage? Tell us.
Such a thing as
is
privacy.
there such a thing as privacy in marriage?
Yeah.
Those who are on, tell us.
One of these days we have to do, is there such a thing as rape in marriage? That's a big controversial topic. But these are things that come up. Somebody saying, I can only hear with my headphone. Oh boy.
Okay. Well,
I'm
everybody
sorry
else,
about
tell
that.
us.
So, definitely.
Come tell us, respond to us, put a message in. Do you think there is
Let's hear from
anything
you.
called privacy in marriage?
And we're gonna get started just so. Ready?
Yes.
You still sharing?
Carolyn said no.
No?
No, that's her response. That's all right.
Carolyn, we want to hear from
Anybody
I need to hear
else?
from you with that.
Anybody else?
All right. This
Have
is
you
going to be
shared?
interesting. I've shared.
Right.
And I was a little late with this one here.
Yep.
You have to bear with me. All right, so let's
Go ahead, Billy.
All right, so we wanted to hear from you guys, and we're still going to wait for you to respond.
Respond.
For others of you who have not
We
responded
only see
yet.
one response.
But thank you so much, Karen. I'm going to ask you sometime to tell us why you say no, because you said that I almost hear some adamant sound or posture with your no. But generally, there are issues coming up a lot now in marriage. Hard to give an answer to that. In what context? All right, we're going to get to all of that. Yes and no.
Yes and no.
There's so many issues coming up in marriages and relationships right now. And one of the things that kind of made it common was a lot of videos and movies where the spouse was asking for primarily the woman was asking for the man's phone details so he can get into the phone.
We were watching Married at First Sight, and there's this lovely couple. They stayed married, by the way. And one day, just out of the blue, they were having a lovely time, and the only couple that seemed to have blended. Just out of the blue, she said, "I want to see your phone. I see you talking to the guy. I want to see your phone."
She not smart. She don't actually just take it up. Okay, let's get serious. But that is the trick. Don't waste time asking for nothing. Just take it up. But
I think I hired before now.
that's the question. And let me tell you, situations like these have caused a lot of problems, a lot of breakdowns in marriages, to the point where they're saying, I feel disrespected. Those persons who feel that their marriage, the person doesn't respect, doesn't or trust them. So I was thinking about it as we were preparing. I was thinking, when we got married, how I used our vow. I had used a different vow. A set of vows that said, your people become my people, and your God was already my God, but I mean, it sounded nice. That's what Ruth said to Naomi.
Yes.
And in many ways, we come to the place where what is yours is mine. As a matter of fact, he often says that to me. What is yours is mine. I'm like, no, you could have some of what is mine, but what is mine is not yours. Good night, Yvonne. So definitely, there is that situation where in marriage, persons feel that because we have come together as a couple, we are no longer just me, but we are we, then there is no need for privacy. There's no need for individuality. I think I want to start up front by saying, when we get married, when we commit to a serious relationship, our me's become merged and form we. So that's our me becomes we. The truth is, me still remains. I still remain. And so while it is necessary for us to have some privacy, it is necessary for us to have some privacy. And the flip side to that, you're going to come in, Never, when you're ready. The flip side to that is it necessary? Is it healthy? I don't want to use the word good or bad, but is it healthy then to have secrets in marriage?
No.
All right. And guys, you can tell us. So do you even see a difference? Can you differentiate between secrets and privacy? And if you can, or even if you can't, how do you think they benefit or hamper a marriage?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to hear from you as we go on. But one of the things I want to bring out as we go forward tonight, just setting the foundation, is that so many people get married and still want to act as if they're single.
Yeah.
That's a big problem we have.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, the reality is that transition from singleness to marriage is challenging.
Yeah. Especially if you've been single for a long time.
But it is something that you have to be intentional about.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
You have to say, I'm no longer single. I am now in the context where I'm sharing a life with someone.
And I'm building a life.
I'm building a life with someone. And so, while there can be some privacy,
There ought not
to be
secrecy.
secrecy.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't mean that every single thing that happened in your previous
Life.
relationships and life should necessarily be revealed.
Or it's happening at the present. And I think we want to make that clear. There should be privacy. There shouldn't be secrecy. But there's also wisdom when it comes to how much you share. So the question is, if then I can, I should be sharing with my spouse. Should I share everything? In some instances, the answer is most things. And you have to be wise about what you share. You don't want to share things, especially based on how you do it and the motive, that may make your spouse feel as if, one, they have to be competing with a past partner, or make them feel insecure or insignificant because you're linking it to something else or some other experience you had. You don't want to share things that may make, you don't want to do things that create superiority and inferiority. We talked about that when we talked about the four horsemen, when we did that a few weeks ago. So you want to ensure that when you are sharing, you are doing it with the intention of drawing closer together and getting to know each other better. So here's
and let me just say, sometimes people don't tell secrets for self-preservation, not really for the marriage protection.
That's it.
And so that's how you know the difference between things I need to share and things that are not needed. You don't. So let me help people.
Go ahead.
You don't have to tell I hope it's your spouse, every single detail of every single relationship. You don't need to
what
tell.
What if they're asking?
They complicate. They are.
No, but this is a serious
That's
thing.
True.
Because
That's a serious
some
question.
who actually do that.
Yeah.
They want to know every nitty-gritty. But I can guarantee you that normally comes from a place of insecurity.
Yeah. So that may not be a good thing that they might be doing.
Right.
But I feel that so you have to be wise.
Yes.
For example, and we're going to give some examples later.
Yes.
If you have been sexually assaulted, that is something that you have to share.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. There's a difference between what you share before marriage and what you share after marriage.
Explain that.
I think there's some things you have to share before marriage.
Before you get married to the
Yes.
person. Exactly. So we're kind of going ahead of ourselves, but let's go ahead since we're there. So for instance, let's say, you do a lot of marriage counseling, premarital counseling. Yes. So we're at the place where you want to, you're getting married. For instance, we say this very, very simply, you must share your STI status.
Yeah.
You don't want to go
if you're sexually active, so you have to share that you're sexually active.
So that's it. So you don't want to go in and say, well, that's not important.
Yeah.
If you had several sexual partners before, it's gonna be important.
Yeah.
Now, don't go looking at and saying you're hinging it on, God has made me over and I'm a whole new person. We're not doubting that.
Because based on what it is, it may be lingering.
Affect your partner. That's it. And if you don't have clear papers to declare that your status, then you may need to declare that. Go ahead. You mentioned if you're raped,
right?
Or
you need
assaulted.
to share that you were assaulted. You need to
share. Go ahead.
Yes, you need to share some of your health challenges. Like we were watching Married Before Married at First Sight, and the guy told they stayed together.
Yeah.
That he has struggled with depression.
Yes.
Oh my! You have to share that.
Definitely.
Right. So that's another thing you have to share. The other thing you have to share is your financial commitments.
Or even so here's the thing now, because there's an imbalance. You have to share your financial obligations, for instance, your loans.
If you have loans.
The fact that you have no money, them kind of things there. But then if you have wealth, do you have to share that?
Why would you hide it?
I was only telling about 50% of that money. Because, and you see,
but this is one of the important things, and this has caused many marriages to go bad.
To break down. All right.
Opaqueness in terms of your finances. You have to be transparent.
All
There's no hiding any account. There's no rainy day account that you hide. you get in trouble when you begin to hide things.
hide.
Yes. Okay.
All right. So let me just go back to the note. So what we're saying, and we're still on the right path.
Yes.
Carolyn is saying no. Here's it. Too many of us, as we are saying, want to get married and are married, but are still acting as if we're single. So we're not building together. We're not bonding together. We're not growing together because we're still operating in silos. And we are forgetting that while our individuality exists, we are now creating a union, or we have created a union. And so when we get...
Somebody said, what's the topic? The topic
Yes.
is there such a thing as privacy in marriage?
Privacy in
so,
marriage.
Marcia, as my former
welcome.
student, you tell us.
Yes,
Is there a thing as privacy? You're married, you can tell us. Is there such a thing as privacy in marriage?
Right, so here's it.
So let's tell them the difference between privacy,
uh-huh.
and secrecy.
So privacy is something that you give to persons out of respect. So in other words, you give them that opportunity to not share or not expose or not disclose
Or not to be bothered with.
or not to be bothered with a particular thing. It could be a
Or
fact
time.
or it could be a different thing. So for instance, let's use a simple everyday experience. I don't always want Neville in the room when I'm dressing, you know? I want my privacy. Like, go outside and close the door. Not because we're married, I mean, you must be there hawking me every time, you know? That kind of thing. And then, I'm not saying he does that.
No.
And then you have privacy in terms of, well, tonight I feel like going out and I'm going to just go by myself. Or go with some friends. It doesn't have to be about you. And I give you that right to say, okay, just go have a night wherever you want to do, wherever you want to go, whatever you want to
I'm
do.
not sure whatever you want to do, but go ahead.
I mean, once you're
You know your spouse, right?
Right, you know your spouse. All right? But secrecy. So Rosalind is saying no secrecy, should share everything. I'm going to come back to you, Rosalind. What does everything mean? Because that is a big word.
Yes.
Everything is a big, big word. So, secrecy now.
So privacy, tell
ahead.
them some more. Privacy is something you give to someone out of respect.
Right. So
without a private life, we cannot truly know ourselves. And in marriage, because you share a home with your spouse, your kids, your privacy is constantly on the threat.
Yeah.
So without private life, not a hidden life, you see the difference? The two of you will lose yourselves merging into we. So that's what I'm saying. And I can sense, and Billy knows too, when she needs just some time by herself.
Yes.
Right? And she has come to me and said, I'm going to the spa. That's the time for her.
I love the fact, I'm just cutting, I love the point that Marcia is making. My husband accepts the fact that there are thoughts I don't want to share with him. And that is very, very good.
At least at the time.
At the time.
And
right.
even going ahead.
Yes, that's excellent. And we need to teach a lot more men that, and even women too. But a lot of men think that they have to have full access into every part of you, mind, body, and spirit. Well, that's not necessarily true. You have that right to privacy. All right? And what we're suggesting here, based on our research and what we ourselves believe, is that for you to be a healthy, whole individual who can contribute and build a healthy and whole marriage, there must be a level of privacy in your life.
Yeah.
There must be that individuality that you hold on to, that you nurture. As a matter of fact, when I nurture me, I make myself better for this.
Right.
And when he nurtures himself, he makes himself better for this marriage.
Right.
So it's not about we're always enmeshed, and that's actually we teach us in family therapy. Enmeshment is not a healthy family condition or relationship. There has to be boundaries even within the marriage. All right? Among the marriage partners. Go ahead.
Knowing what to share and what not to share is an important communication skill for couples to learn and use in marriage.
Yes.
It may also be something that can help or hinder peace and harmony in your spouse. So it's a delicate balance.
And that's what I was saying to Ross, and we'll come back to that, because the truth is, everything can be tricky. There's some things you may not want to share. Now, here's the difference. You don't have to keep it a secret. You may want to say, you know what, I don't want to talk about this, but just know that this exists. And you have to examine your motive for not sharing it.
Right.
But your partner who should be able to understand, once you have clear communication, understand your spirit, understand your motive, and accept that it's okay that you don't have to share this particular thing.
Amasia said something, says, when there is trust and transparency, she said, I think it's possible to allow for privacy.
Excellent.
Yeah?
Excellent. That's it.
What are some of the things some things to remember in any relationship? You have a right to privacy in any relationship, including with your spouse, partner, and family. I can tell you something professionally. My wife has the all clear to privacy. So she makes it very clear.
Confidentiality.
Well, confidential, but that's also you're keeping something private there too.
Yes.
So it's confidentiality because of your client, but between us, you have no right to share with me what you have discussed with somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the same thing with me too as a pastor. I have no right to share everything I've discussed. Yeah.
Your members.
There's some things I need to hold to me, and even your workplace.
Yes.
There's some things that you don't need to discuss with me,
right,
because the workplace issue. And the
it.
same thing with me too.
That's
so,
it.
but you see, some people are not comfortable like that.
And the truth is, again, because the issue of healthy whole relationships come from an individual health and wholeness, sometimes we don't nurture that spirit in the relationship, and so we feel insecure, we feel threatened, we feel if we don't know certain things or know all things, then we are not in a good position. All right, but we're making the point that you must have privacy. And again, remember, privacy, we're going to come to this now. Privacy is not secrecy. And here's this: privacy's motive is not to lock your partner out of your life. Privacy's motive is actually to help to build you. Again, I'm saying that so you can make your relationship better.
And you have a right to privacy for some me time.
Yes. Yes.
That's your time. Some people go to their bathroom for some privacy.
Yes, especially with children.
So you can stay away for a little bit. Yes, you go for a walk because you want some privacy, right? And the reason why we don't run outside naked and do things outside is because we want privacy.
Right.
Correct?
Yes.
So
let me put this in right now then. Is it okay? We're going to get a little controversial here, but these are real issues. Do you need to have my phone's passcode? Do you need to have my email address, password?
Yes.
Do you need to have my
bank account,
ultimate access, my bank account PIN?
Yes.
And do you need to have that unlimited access into these areas of my life as my spouse?
And what I'll say is that is up to the spouses, the couple to decide. But you see, that's why it's so hard to navigate. What I want to keep private in one marriage may not be something that another marriage wants to. Right.
Or maybe useful for that
or
marriage.
Useful.
Yes.
Because
go ahead.
One of the things we'll tell you.
But that's what Marcia is saying. It differs couple to couple.
Right.
Excellent.
So the communication is necessary.
Yes.
Absolutely necessary. And we talk about communication all the time. In every topic we will discuss, communication is a linchpin.
Honest, open, consistent communication.
Right. So secrecy. Secrecy is something you withhold from another. Secrets tend to be motivated by fear and shame.
They have to slow that down because people need to understand this. And it's a very serious thing. I think, I don't remember what was saying, it's a serious topic, and I think it's Katura. That's very true. Secrecy is motivated by shame and fear. Yeah. So the reason why you have, because secrecy is about hiding, you're going to finish up, right? I just want to put the thing. The reason why you feel the need to hide is because there's something that you're fearful about or shameful of. And I'm thinking about...
So somebody grabs the phone.
Right.
Oh, why are you not giving the pin? What happened?
Why are you not giving the pin?
Why are you not giving the pin to my phone? And what happens then is that some people go behind your back now and do it.
Yes.
No. My wife can check my phone anytime she wants.
And I do. just so you know.
And vice versa could be fine too. Because we don't have anything to hide. We don't have anything to hide. You know?
Yes.
Actually, I'll share this with us. there have been times when the phone rings and I get up because I just want to be out of the room. Billy has said to me, "Is who so called that you can?"
Listen, I have to be upfront with this thing. I'm not going to play like I'm foolish. If every time somebody calls or the phone rings, you have to get up and answer that phone when you're sitting down for 20 minutes before, it's not because you need to stretch your legs. It is not because you need to stretch your legs. So you need to let me know what is going on.
Yes. And I've told you the same thing every single time. I just want sometimes to be out of the room. And she knows I'm not hiding anything. Anyway, that's us.
Let's not do this in camera. Okay, but seriously though, that is, and I was, as you were just sharing that, Nevin, I thought about that whole Garden of Eden situation. That sometimes we take the word of God so lightly. When God said, when Adam and Eve sinned, the motive behind it was, let me do my own thing and test my waters. And when they had their consequence, God said, where were you? Where are you? And they were hiding.
Yeah, when you're hiding.
When you're hiding, it's in a rough place. Yeah. And so when you have, and it's your fear that came out. So fear says that you are afraid that if you reveal a particular thing, your spouse could be hurt, you could lose your spouse, or you could lose your marriage. Generally, that's what fear does. Fear says there is a possibility that I may lose something here if I reveal this thing.
Right, and maybe being honest and open, even if you need a professional to help you navigate it, then you eventually have to share, because secrets have a way of coming out. Yes. Here it says here, I think it's psychologist Carl Jung says, secrets in marriage do more harm than good. The possession of secrets acts like a psychic poison that alienates their possessor from the community. In this case, the marriage.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, and it's a lot of things that happen. I'm not saying illegal things are happening in your marriage. I'm saying some people are able to maintain illegalities because of secrets.
Yes.
So they say, keep it a secret.
Yes.
Don't share it.
And I'm glad you said that. Let me finish before I come to that point, because that's such an important point. I was going to bring that up. But the other part of secrecy is shame. And shame says we feel bad about what we did, what happened, what is going on. And shame, which means that you have to uncover me and what's going on, makes me want to keep it hidden.
Marcia says something. He says, I can understand if maybe your spouse has, let's say, a gambling issue. You'd want to keep the bank account.
Well,
away
listen,
from them.
that's where I was going, Marcia, because I was just about to say, we have to understand in our relationships right now, and we have to be real. Even in Christian relationships, unfortunately, we don't always follow Christ. We have a lot of abuse.
Oh, we have our struggles.
We have our struggles, correct. He's more, what was the word? Accommodating than I am. But but it's a serious issue. We have a lot of abuse going on.
Right. No, and I'm not accommodating for those things.
That's the point I'm making. And so what Marcia said is where I was going with that we have a lot of abuse going on in relationships. And here's what. Secrecy becomes necessary to save your life.
Right.
In this case, when you talked about self-preservation, it was not just about ego preservation and self-image. It was about your literal life. And actually, let me put this in right now as a tip. If you are going through abuse, we always say to you, have a plan, and you cannot give your spouse the plan if you're going to move out. Right. And if you have young children who are still easily manipulated by your abuser, you cannot tell the children the plan either.
Right.
And that is where we could say it's okay to be secretive. As a matter of fact, tell somebody on the outside who you know will keep that secret and help you escape.
So secrets, in some cases, the secret may not be always bad.
By
the way, if you're planning a surprise for your spouse, of course, that's a good secret.
Right.
And like Billy, what you said there, in terms of accommodating, it's because of, I guess, my posture as a pastor, not really accommodation. It is understanding that we're all flesh and that we have all of us have our feelings.
Right.
And so I have my own feelings, and I want the grace of God and the forgiveness of God. But when it comes to serious things like domestic violence and so forth.
And
There's where
abuse,
I cross the line.
Because she talked about gambling, and that's another big
So
thing.
there's a line
happening.
that must be crossed there, where you must
Right.
not be accommodating.
Because here's what you can turn into an enabler when you get into some of these things.
The church has been an enabler for some things, sadly.
In some
you know,
things.
and Christians too have
Yes.
been enablers for some things.
So if you have a spouse who's a gambler, a drug addict, a pornography addict, you don't want to put things in their way that could become stumbling blocks for them, and that's going to leave you and your marriage void of necessity.
And if you know there's an issue, then you have to be constantly seeking help.
Yes.
And if there is a partner that is not willing to work on it, then you have a really hard decision to make.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. So what are some examples of secrets? So we had some, and you guys can share some with us.
Right here.
So we have
having an affair. Secrets that can hurt your marriage. Yes, if you have
okay, go ahead.
Or if you had an affair
in a previous relationship.
No, in your present relationship and you stopped it.
Right. So in
should
that
you
case,
share that?
I was just gonna ask you that. So you tell us, guys, if you
have to share that. You have to share.
With the risk that you might lose the marriage?
Because that would mean that the person who you had the affair with and those who knew about the affair will always...
It was a midnight. Nobody know about this, the moonlight.
No, so the other person would know. I'm just saying in addition, because in some cases, somebody else knows.
Right.
That person who you had the affair with or the persons who know will constantly have that over your head. No,
not really.
Well, no,
okay,
they could. Because what if it accidentally jumps out their mouth? What if they're talking on the phone with somebody? Well, you know, we love WhatsApp now. What if they put it on WhatsApp and somebody who knows a friend who is a friend of your friend? You understand?
Right. So
it has the potential.
Sake of your marriage, just be honest.
You have to be honest.
Just be honest.
The other thing why you have to be honest is that what if you contracted something?
That's why you go to the doctor.
Yes, but what if you have no other alternative but to share? Because if you want to continue to be sexually active, it's an issue that has to... What if your spouse realize, hey, how come you using condom now and you never used to like it?
Yeah.
You see?
So these are real
you're keeping a secret
issues
that can eventually just explode. And now,
sharing
it could also cause explosion. But at least you have an opportunity to
make amends.
Come clean.
Yes.
And that the person did not find out from a third person down the road.
Yes.
That you actually had a relationship.
And that is true. We have to also, in the situation, differentiate between consequences and responses, because a natural consequence of having an affair that your marriage will end. It could end. And that's not because the person is cruel. It's just a natural consequence of having an affair.
And they have a right to.
All right, and they have that right. So other secrets that could matter.
Job problems.
Job issues. So, we have people can lie about their skills and their occupation. I mean, we have plenty of this in the workplace anyway. But you have it in your marriage. You tell the person you have a job. You're getting up every day and dressing and leaving the house and not coming back until 4 o'clock. Right. And when she calls the place or he calls the place where you say you're going to work, there ain't nobody working here named that.
Yes, keeping an addiction or substance use, habits hidden.
Yeah.
Legal problems.
Yes.
Lending money.
Having a child before you got married.
And not sharing
not sharing that with your spouse.
Yeah.
Those are secrets that can destroy your marriage. And so you don't want to have them as secrets, but you want to have them as things that you reveal. So
should you share who you had relationships with before?
I think in some instances you can, and you should, especially if there were children involved or major issues involved. You should divulge who the persons were. Now, if you had 99 partners, I don't think you can remember all of them. And the people who have had 99 partners. Yes. But you're building remember we talk about coming together. You're building something, you're growing together. Pornography addiction, excellent. Yeah. So you want to be able to reveal these things, because these things can really hit at the marriage, and then you wonder, why is the marriage going on, breaking down? You know why? Because there are too many secrets in the closet. Remember when R. Kelly came out with that song, In the Closet.
Something.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that was a big song. Okay, sorry, that was not a
behind
church.
bars now.
That was not a church song, but it was an interesting song. We have so many secrets,
Yeah.
and we don't have. And like Nevi was correctly saying, secrets always keep something over you. There's always that ability for blackmail and embarrassment, and so it's important that you, in your relationship, you may not do all of it before. I love that one, Luan. Fertility issues. You want to come clean as you go along.
If you know it from before.
If you know it from before. So if you know your ovaries were removed.
Oh my.
And you cannot. No, I have people like that. I know people like that.
have to share
You
that.
cannot have children. You're going to get married to somebody who wants children.
Well,
and you're not going to say anything.
You assume so, yeah.
No, you have that discussion. You know they
Right.
want children,
Yeah.
but you're so afraid because I love them so much. I don't want to lose him. He's the only man that ever loved me for who I am. But you don't say that you have
Right, but
no
that's not
ovaries.
fair.
You can't have children.
Yeah,
and
that's
he's
not
saying
fair.
he can't wait to be the father of your children.
Right, and then you
How
know.
do you reconcile that secret with the life that you're trying to build?
Lying about how you spend money.
Somebody said it earlier about going on a shopping spree.
Right.
Well, my husband knows that I could shop a little
Yes.
bit, but I always come in and say, you know what, I need
This is
help.
what I spend, yes. And let me tell you,
Most times
she
I
work
want-
hard. She work hard for money so she can spend.
But that's better for
Yes, but I mean she's wise, right?
Yeah.
Not paying bills,
That's a big one.
not revealing an illness.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, if you're sick or cell,
Oh my.
you need to.
Or diabetic.
Your spouse needs to know.
Yes.
You need because they might be a trace.
Yes.
They
And
might have a
chil-
trace, and next thing
You have
a
children.
child.
Yes.
No, children with sickle cell, we pray for them, and you can't avoid it, I guess, in some cases. But you see, if you knew, then you can make decisions.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Right. And seeing family and friends secretly. Yeah.
Yes. And that's the thing. We have to look at why is it that so many parts of our lives have to be secret? Why is that? And the one writer talks about 2 thumbs of rule to determine what to share and what not to share with your spouse, right? So the first rule of thumb is that if your partner would feel angry or betrayed, we kind of shared it before, if they discover this information themselves or from a third party, share it with them. We talked about the affair. We talked about having a child before. We talked about having financial issues. If these are things that will make your partner feel hurt and betrayed, it's better you tell them and help them get through that information sharing.
Yeah.
And the other rule of thumb, remember again, I'm sharing these 2 things that you should share with your partner. If you voluntarily share the things that you believe, let me say it as it is, you voluntarily share the things that you believe will increase your partner's understanding of who you are and how you came to be you. This is so crucial as well. We talked earlier about if you have a history of abuse or sexual assault, if you have a particular upbringing, you want to be able to share certain things and not be ashamed. If you had a child before, you want to be able to share these things and not allow them to become secrets. For instance, if you had an abortion, or children.
Yeah, children.
Right. Oh my God. Luan, that's a side topic.
This is a reality.
That's a big one. I know from cases like that. But
abortion.
Abortion. If you had an abortion, that is something that I think you should share.
You think so?
Yes. Because one of the things that happens with many women who have abortion
I'll tell you no.
is that they have that issue of prolonged grief or complicated grief that comes on. And the truth is, as people of God, we don't believe in that unless it's a medical emergency.
Mother's
and so we should repent before God. And ultimately, it may not happen right away, but somewhere along the line, you should divulge that to your spouse. I know I've read of a story where a woman she did have an abortion, and for years she and her husband wanted to have children. In a movie I was watching, she and her husband wanted to have children. They could never have children, and it turned out that it was because she had an abortion and had it so terribly done. Back in those days, it wasn't done properly. They botched her up, and he never forgave her. In old age, he left this woman he loved all his life because he he felt she did not give him the fair chance to decide to be with her and be childless, or to love her and accept the fact that he could not have a child. And so there's some things you really do not want to create secrets, because like we said, and like the rule of thumb says, if your partner finds out themselves or from a third party, will it devastate them? Will they feel betrayed? Will they become angry and feel like they can't trust you? If that is the case, you're better off telling them. And so that's where privacy and secrecy come different.
We have said already, not every secret needs necessary to be revealed. Let's go back to the abortion one. What if the abortion doesn't affect you psychologically anymore and doesn't affect your ability to have children? Do you think that because of that you don't have to share it?
I still think that you should.
But my view is,
because you want to build a marriage on openness and transparency.
Well, remember, we said not all secrets need to be shared, and one of the rule of thumbs, or whether or not you want to share, is this because you're protecting yourself because of guilt or what have you, or is it that you're trying to protect the marriage? My feeling is, if you did an abortion is not affecting your present, maybe that is something that I don't know if it is absolutely something you have to share.
And here's where I would agree but disagree. Okay. I think ultimately it should become a part of your marriage. In other words, that information. No, again,
and that may never be revealed. That is, a third party may never know about that.
Right. But I'm saying I think you have the responsibility, because you want to build. Remember, an abortion helps to make you who you are. And we talk about sharing that openness with helping your partner understand who you are.
Right.
And having an abortion may have, changed your
perspective. It may not have.
But you see, we have our differences
right,
here.
But because the secrets thing is it's a subjective kind of thing based on your marriage.
It is.
What is another secret that you think people don't have to share, or do we stay away from that?
Well,
you have to decide.
We're in an age, and this is not even a joke. But if you had a previous sex before,
you have to share that.
Why do you have to share that? I don't know. I mean,
you have to share that, Billy.
If you have a sex change, just go to clubs where sex change people go to, and avoid the straight born sex. I'm sorry, that was not appropriate.
No.
But
no, you have to share that.
Yes,
give me another thing. Give me another thing.
One you're talking about that you don't have to share. Yeah. I think you don't have to share if you
every single sexual partner?
Every single sexual. Again, if you had 99 of them, you probably don't need to share all of them, because that's going to just make your partner feel so scared.
You don't have to share these. What I say, I don't mind if you share your previous relationships, but you don't have to share details.
The details. So, for instance, you don't want to say, well, with partner one, we were together for 5 years, and this is what happened for the 5 years, and this is what sex was like, and this is how we broke up, and
this is what we did.
We don't need the gory details. That's already past, right? And you're trying to build something new. I actually was thinking facetiously about if you had your color change, like you're bleaching, people do skin bleaching, next thing your child come out dark and people wonder what happened. So these are, we laugh at, but these are real things. If, for instance, I think one thing that you...
What about your previous family secrets?
I was just going to talk about that, yes. So
your family secrets, I don't know if it's necessary for every detail to be known.
No. And that is something, although
that could be helpful.
We are products of our families of origin. If you're realizing some things are happening, you may want to say, I've never shared this with you before, sweetheart, but I'm now beginning to see there may be a link and I want to share this with you.
So on the litmus test may be, maybe the individual may not be able to decipher that, because something affecting you may not be obvious to you. But let's say you're aware that something is affecting you, then I feel that you need to level with the person. Let's say there was abuse in the family. Yes. If they notice you get angry or what have you, maybe that's something you need to share.
Yes.
And share before you get married too, in some cases.
Yes.
And then there's some secrets that if you share after marriage, may not be as devastating. That may be one.
Family,
in my
right.
family,
This
this
was
is
the
how we
case.
operated. Or it might even be in my family, mommy never shared what her bank account was.
Right.
Or mommy didn't
And
do this or
that's
do
making
that.
me who I am.
Yeah.
But here's what the writer says here. Practice transparency.
Yeah.
Transparency speaks to honesty and openness.
Yeah.
Again, we said it earlier when we started, too many people want to be married and still live like individuals. It doesn't work that way. The Bible says the two have become one. Now, becoming one doesn't mean that you're no longer yourself, because you're still an individual, but you have now become a unique individual with a new identity merged with your partner. And so they recommend that if your spouse asks a question, answer honestly. Maybe it was not something you thought you necessarily had to share, but one day you're having a discussion, this arbitrary discussion in your marriage, and your partner asks you this particular thing, and you're like, wow. It would be important to share. Now, if it's really something devastating, you may want to say to them, oh wow, can you give me some time?
Can I interject?
Sure.
So there are poor times to share a secret.
Right.
If you have a secret, please don't share it at bedtime. That is, you're in the bed already.
Sleeping time.
Sleeping time. That's not a great time to share. During periods of grumpiness.
If you're
person
angry,
already
sleepy,
grumpy.
or tired, don't
not a
do
good
deep
time.
stuff. No.
Well, we don't expect you all to be drunk. We don't expect you to get drunk. But please don't share it when, God forbid, you have a spouse who gets drunk.
Yes.
Also, when either of you is in a stressful situation. So if there's stress already,
In the marriage.
intense, it may not be a good time to share a secret.
So here's an example. Both of you in COVID, we all in COVID, we're having stress at work, we're having stress at whatever, and he comes home, I'm going to say he because I'm a woman, and he comes home acting the fool, whatever that means, and he said, that is why I never tell you.
Yes. So you're angry already.
You're already angry.
Right.
And that's why I never tell you about so and so.
And by the way, some arguments with couples, sometimes that happens.
And then you can get to understand the motive, and you can see from there the purpose for keeping it a secret. Because if now you use it as a weapon, as
That's right.
ammunition,
Fling it back at
then
them.
that's not something good.
No.
That is why I never tell you that so and so.
Right.
And you know,
And then you drop the big
and you
bomb.
drop the bomb.
And then you just stop everything.
Whole place smash up. Yeah.
Because you don't get a chance to rationally and calmly and lovingly
Yes.
share this
Share
thing.
and have
Also, don't
response.
share when your spouse is already dealing with bad news. Right? So if there's bad news already, they lost a job or they're going to have a 10% cut or something, it's not a good time to share a secret.
Yep. But what if, we're wrapping up, we have
Yeah.
a few minutes, what if your partner is demanding
Access.
access to your life?
Your private
And
life.
saying
Your
that
private life.
your private life, and saying that you must share these things. You must share your passwords.
You
You
must
must
share
share
your
your email. You
I
must share
must
your
know
thoughts,
the pin for all your accounts.
your cards, and those sort of things. I must know how much money
So they
you
come as a
have.
demand.
It becomes a demand. So then,
So if your partner is
Go ahead.
demanding, jealous, hyper vigilant about monitoring your whereabouts and interactions with others, or is prone to behavior that could be construed as policing, monitoring, or spying, you'll be surprised how many couples spying on each other. Then they may have experienced a trauma of some kind.
Yep.
And it's important for there to be a discussion. So the betrayed spouse doesn't know if they can trust the cheating spouse again. So they become hyper vigilant. It's such a tough situation.
it's kind of like PTSD in the
And you understand it,
psychological
and
sense.
you
You
understand
become
it.
hyper vigilant
Because
and try to avoid.
if trust has been broken
Yeah.
in whatever area, the person who was hurt as a result can become a little bit more, vigilant, extra vigilant.
Yes. So the point is, if your partner is demanding this kind of access to your life, you must set boundaries. Remember we said that earlier?
Can I pause
Even
you?
within the marriage, you
Before
have
you
to have
continue
boundaries.
with that.
Go ahead, yeah.
If you broke trust, hurt your partner, cheating, lying, whatever it is, you broke trust, you have a responsibility as the one who broke the trust to make yourself more transparent.
more transparent, but doesn't mean I no longer have
privacy.
Yes.
Although I think it really matters if the person says, because the use of my phone, let's say you were sharing messages that you should not have been sharing with the opposite sex, then I think your phone needs to be open.
Fair game.
So that the person feels comfortable
rebuilding
that you're not hiding.
Again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or,
go ahead.
Or you're on the phone, like Billy was saying, although she didn't have any issue, and she was probably just playing a little bit.
I wasn't playing.
Oh.
I wasn't playing.
Right. Anyway, she didn't have a reason to not trust me. So if you're somebody dealing with the phone issue and you still are walking out of the room when you get the calls, then that can cause some issue.
So here's the thing again, we're saying, if there's, and somebody made that point just now, if they're making demands but they're not reciprocating, that's an issue, and we know that there's something behind of that. Now also remember, as we shared, many abusive partners will do those kind of things, right? So you must set boundaries in this relationship, in the marriage, and say, listen, which is what he did in the phone issue, there's no reason to not trust me. If you want to see, you could see, but there's no need for you to see every time or hear every time.
That's right.
All right? But the boundaries were set. Gently remind your partner that your private life is your private life.
Yes.
And so you try to understand.
I can take up the phone and go and walk outside. And
do it again, man. I mean, I don't have no reason to doubt, but let me tell you.
I'll tell you what, I'll do it again, because I know I am dead, and she knows.
See, this is him hiding in plain sight. Watch here now. So let them know that your private life is your private life, and that you must allow them to feel comforted, and that they don't need to be afraid that something is really going on. So even while you're saying to them, no, I don't think you need to see it, you still can find ways to soften it,
or find out why is it that you're
comfortable, and ask them, what's the concern?
Why are you so
interested? Let's talk about
now?
the issue. Let's talk, because the issue is not really the phone. The issue is the trust.
Yeah.
Right? The issue is not that you're going out. The issue is the fear that you're doing something when you go out, right? So the idea is not to hide anything, but to set a boundary around invasive demands that are driven by fear. We talked about fear again.
If it's driven by fear.
Yes.
Now the fear may be well founded.
Yes.
Because founded is a word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or grounded.
Yeah. Because of what happened in the past. Between you. And sometimes there's
with somebody else.
That's right. That may be a little bit more irrational, but it can be understood.
Yes.
So you understand from the person, I have been hurt in the past with people doing this. But that is something you have to share.
Yes.
Say to your partner.
Yes.
In the past, I've had persons who hide their phones, and I find out later that they were doing some stuff.
Yes.
I would appreciate, and I will do the same.
Yes. So that's the thing. There has to be that reciprocation of it, that reciprocity.
Or at least the offer of it.
And I'm thinking, as you're sharing there, that's the scripture that says, perfect love casts out fear. Your love relationship, your marriage should be one that makes you unafraid.
Yeah.
Unafraid.
And you can create the atmosphere for the person to not feel afraid.
So you want to be comfortable being transparent.
Yes.
Why? And on the other side, you want to feel comfortable giving your partner their privacy, because your love makes you unafraid. Yes. And that's the word of God. The Bible says, love casts out fear. Perfect love casts out fear. Now the love of God is the perfect love.
Maybe the love is not perfect.
But that's the thing. See, the love is not perfect. If the love is not growing and healthy and wholesome and godly, then we could see some fears coming in the love. But then once we're with the good intentions, the motives, we know it's founded on the word of God, and we're actively working our love based on what God has commanded us, then we could see there's little fear that needs to reside.
And there's some couples who have to deal with the fact that they have a spouse who likes to go to parties, like to go to bars and drink, go to places where it is possible the interactions can become a little tough.
Risky, yes.
Yeah. or they go to fetes, and you are not comfortable with fetes. So there's an onus there. I'm not saying you should go to fetes, but I can't tell adults what to do. The person who likes to engage in those activities need to go an extra mile and be transparent.
Yes.
Yeah? When you're at the fete or you're at the bar, you need to call and say, hey, how are you doing?
I was gonna say something like, this is not gonna sound church-like.
Right. So no shit. But that becomes a challenge. Yeah?
Yes,
Really?
yes, it does. It does.
Especially when you're the one always going and the person doesn't want to go with you.
Yes.
Because that's not
Their
something they
type
want
of
to
thing.
do.
Yes.
Yeah, but that can start to have some consequences
Yes.
eventually.
But we're
We're
wrapping
almost
up,
finished.
guys.
So we're saying privacy is essential.
Essential.
Yeah. Secrecy,
Not so much.
not so much.
And then again, your privacy can become a secret.
Yeah. So there's a thin line
There's a
there.
thin line, right?
So secrets are distinguished by intentionally hiding information, feelings of shame or fear, and the fact that your partner would be upset if they discovered what you're hiding.
Develop your private life. So we are saying, yes, have some privacy for
Yes.
yourself. And this prevents you from suffocating, and I'm like that, from too much closeness, and helps keep your spouse attracted to you over the long term. Do you know couples who become enmeshed most times can't make it, or even if they make it, don't have a loving, healthy relationship, because there's no more excitement in you that the person is pursuing. It's just the sameness. All right?
Yeah.
And definitely, if you're not sure what to tell your spouse, we gave you the 2 rules of thumb. Rules of thumb, that's the way to say it, right?
Yeah.
I always mix it up. The rules of thumb: if your partner is going to feel angry and betrayed, if he found out another way or she found out another way, definitely tell them.
Yeah.
If you believe sharing and the second one, if you believe sharing the information will increase your partner's understanding of who you are, well, share it.
Yeah.
Folks, at the end of the day, we are wrapping up
Right.
here.
Somebody, let's talk.
Yes.
Let's look at some
2
things that
minutes.
people said. Some people may be paranoid. Luan was saying.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that happens. And remember, that comes also from trauma.
Yeah.
Even our
experiences.
perpetrators of domestic violence
Yeah.
and abuse, a lot
So
of
you
them
need
have
to
been
find out more.
traumatized.
Maybe-
And that's one secret you don't want to keep,
That's
because
right.
that's what it can do to you.
Yeah.
All right?
Marcia was saying if they're demanding but not reciprocating the demands, then
That's an
that's an
issue.
yes. We said that, we totally agree. And she said I'll add that they're probably up to something and checking to see if their partner is doing it too.
Yes.
Marcia was saying, go ahead. Ultimately, we cannot control if and when our partner is unfaithful.
Excellent
It's true,
point. Excellent point.
Yeah.
And the role of us doing this, being transparent and open, is not to control.
Yeah.
It's to build.
Yeah.
We're building willingly, openly, and mutually.
Yes. Luana saying calling from the bar. That's
And then we see Nikisha saying, must also respect and honor partner's space and intentions.
Yes, lovely.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Guys, we
Thank
are 1 minute down, and we
Right.
don't want to take you over tonight.
Can we just say
Leave a little
right.
mystery.
Can
Thank you,
we-
Marcia. Go
Yes,
ahead.
can we just say you can share this, please?
Yes.
Share it to the couple. We have people
Or
on
take
our
some
Facebook.
of the points and talk to
right?
them about it.
We have people on our Facebook pages, couples, people who are planning to get married,
Yes.
people who are married, people who you may have insight in terms of what they're dealing with. Share it. You never know, it might be helpful.
Yes.
But it's an important discussion because we know in our experiences that marriages have gone through some tough times
Yes.
because there was not. Yeah, there was not.
Yeah,
there was not
wasn't.
openness and transparency,
and honesty.
then people don't know how to navigate these technological times. Though I share my Facebook page password, though I share my WhatsApp messages,
my card, my links pin.
card, all kind of things now that we have to
ATM.
deal with. Yeah, and so thank you. We think it's important to have this discussion. Please have the discussion. Yeah, so that there can be some greater understanding. Yeah,
Yeah.
and be willing to share with your spouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you fail to share something before you got married that you think you should share now, just be careful in terms of the times that you share it, right? And if you think it might be necessary to get some help, you might just seek the help.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Excellent.
Because secrets can become really damaging to marriages. If you came on late, you can go back and listen. And if you may, you can like it and share it so somebody else can benefit.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's another time.
Muddy Puddles?
Yes, we are going to be doing some more sessions, but we'll stop sometime
Early
in
December. Yes. Give you guys a break.
Take a little break and we come again having
Fresh
prepared.
in the year.
Yes. We are thinking about sharing about cheating. Can marriages survive cheating? We know there are cases where it has survived. And Billy and I were having a discussion about protecting your marriage from cheating and that kind of thing. Right.
Yes.
It's now that we're ending up, people are coming out. At least a few more. But we thank you for being on. God bless you. If you know of a topic, share it, please. WhatsApp it. Please, we would love to know, because sometimes what is on your mind or has crossed your mind might be really vital for somebody, as you have done in the past. People have shared topics with us that we have done, and they have been really helpful. So God bless you, and thank you for joining us for another Muddy Puddles, and may God continue to guide you and bless you.
Amen.
God bless.
Take care, guys. Bye.